And we are live. This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast, brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast Network, is presented by Patreon. Score exclusive perks, contests, including the NFL win totals contest with an $1,000 prize. Kind of like picking win totals here and there like we do every single season, but you're going to be putting a big pool. The winner gets a $1,000 prize. Super awesome contest we got going on. It is also brought to you by Parlay Play. These parlay apps are popping up left and right. This one is awesome. Parlay Play is the lead pipe locking parlaying for parlaying player props. Very illiterate right there. Go to parlayplay.io and use promo code SGP for $100 deposit bonus. You guys know the deal, DFS picks. I got my good friend Joe Thomas coming with me tonight. But before I bring on Joe, I just got to give him a quick shout out, because if you follow me, you follow Kirshner, you know how into the nicknames we are. But without Joe Thomas's input from the golfer nicknames, he birthed it all. And me and Brian kind of ran with it. But I never brought that up to Joe, but he is the pioneer for the ridiculous, absurd golfer nickname. So, Joe, thank you for joining me. I had to give you that quick shout out. Thank you for coming on tonight.
That was quite an intro, man. I really appreciate it. You know, it was just a thing going back years. Me and my buddy Romeo the Caddy, I'm sure you've seen him on there. We would just have a Tuesday night call every week and kind of go over the board and stuff before the early days of the community. Yeah, that was probably like the Zach Johnson at the Open was when it all started. But yeah, we just get a kick out of it. We do it for fun. It's not anything crazy. But it's, you know, obviously we get some crazy names out of it, and you know, appreciate everything you've done. Of course, this is like our thing, a day of work, and then we relax by sweating out degenerate stuff afterwards. So I appreciate you bringing me on. You do a great job. You're a pillar of the community yourself. So glad to be here tonight, finally, after a long time coming.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The first time I ever saw you tweet, just simply Cousin Denny, something like that, I was like, this guy. And then I know I had you on with Rob on my old channel. Always watch those, and I would just get a kick of that. Not even for the picks, just the picks were always awesome and great information, but the laughs I got from you just saying stupid stuff like that was amazing. So we're gonna talk DFS. I'm sure you're gonna bring up some awesome names. Blatant Chief, if you don't follow him, definitely go follow him before or after the show. It's been out of it a little bit dealing with the wedding, but that's pretty important. But we're back now, so happy we're to talk DFS.
Absolutely. Glad to be here, and I'm ready to roll. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to bring up the DFS board. Obviously, we head to Memphis first week of the playoffs. Should have started with that, but yeah, it's the fucking playoffs. So let's get into it. We have a few guys over 10K. That's where we're going to start. Xander, Vic, Rom, Roars, and Scotty. This is a course we see every single year. Pretty straightforward. We know what we're getting at this golf course. So what are your key takeaways, I guess, from the course? And then start us off in this 10K range.
Yeah, so just those that you haven't followed me or listened before, I'm really into just like the old timey baseball scout. Like I watch a ton of golf. You know, I'm not going to kill you with strokes gained metrics, although obviously it's important. I'm more of a field guy. So just looking at this, like the top of the board to me this week, after only looking at it for a few hours, is kind of even here. I don't have one lean too far one way or the other. I mean, how do you not play Scotty the year he's having? I think he's got a T4, 6 out of his last 7. And I think this player of the year thing's up for grabs, whether they care about it. They all have enough money. But I think in terms of, you know, the locker room pissing contest, these guys want to be the top guy of the year. And it kind of, you know, between him, Rory, and Rahm, it's debatable on how this turns out, the FedEx Cup, who wins it. We know Rory plays well in August, probably the best he does the entire year going into East Lake. I mean, he's doing just fine. Obviously fell short in the majors. And then Rombo, of course, who, you know, I hammered him pretty good at the Open. That was solid. But unfortunately, I did also hammer Denny, which wasn't so great. But I'm used to that by now. So, and then you got good boy Victor. So, I mean, it's a guy who, you know, is playing better at this course. You know, obviously, Jeff Smith was his old coach. And I'm sure you've heard this already this week. But, you know, he was based out of here. So he's been improving every time out. Around TPC Southwind. So, I mean, I'll probably have those guys. I usually am a big can't lay guy. I saw he was pretty high in your model this week. He's high in my rankings every week too, but just something's a little off with him this year. And the fact that him and Xander are not just best friends, but their games are very similar without a real flaw. But that killer instinct. I don't think they have it as much as the top 3 or 4 guys this week. So I'll be a little heavier up top. And then really dive deep into the 7 and 8K range. There's a ton of Monday misprices out there, as we call them. So we'll get down there, but pretty spread out at the top. I had to pick one, probably Rory, just because I think he plays better than anyone else come August. But what are you thinking? What are you feeling so far?
Yeah, so from the top of the board, it's always Scotty's going to rate out number one. Like it makes sense. Obviously, he's the best player strokes gain wise. And yeah, it's well warranted, but is he $1,000 better than Jon Rahm right now? I'm not sure. They're both coming off of a little break. I think Rahm had that little Masters hangover, and before the Masters and from the beginning of the year to the Masters, he was probably the best player in the world. Then he had that Masters win, was a little behind the 8 ball, and what we saw at the Open, I feel like that Open T2 is going a little bit under the radar just because how amazing Brian Harman was, but without Brian Harman, Jon Rahm probably wins that event. I know you can't say that, but that was a solid second place finish at a tough golf course that a lot of guys didn't play well in. So I think I lean to Scotty Scheffler as like the better play, but is he worth $1,000? That's a question we're going to have to ask ourselves by Wednesday, by Thursday. So I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is, truthfully.
I agree with that. And, if you look at the last few like optimal lineups at the majors, at least, and I wouldn't call it a major field, but obviously it's a playoff event. It's been a lot of the 9K into 8K guys mixing it around up top. Going obviously Wyndham Clark I think he was probably in the 7s or high 8s at that point. But yeah, I definitely don't think Scotty is $1,000 better than Rahm, and that was the same thought that I had at the Open, which is why I played Rahm pretty heavily. So, I mean, 3 of them probably have equal win equity, honestly, this week. And I probably will spread it around because I just don't feel too strongly about any of them one over the other. So I probably would rather spread them and then hammer a few guys in the 8K range and hope that works out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I feel like Jon Rahm was not that he was going under the radar, but like I said, was in a bit of a hangover, and we were getting slight ownership discounts on him. What's the narrative going to be heading into this week? Is everyone going to be back in after that T2, or did they forget about it because he had a few weeks off after the Open? That's something we're going to have to look at projections and see, but I don't know. I feel like that T2 is just getting overlooked, so we might get that ownership discount too. Rory's obviously been playing great golf. And Scotty Scheffler, I feel like this might be one of the most evenly spread out 1, 2, 3s we've seen the last few weeks, because there's usually been a one horse that everyone goes to, but I'm not really seeing that this week, at least so far.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, if Scotty was the same price, or say he was 11.6 or something, I think maybe he would have be 20-22%. But at this point, it's a little too early to tell still. But I think that they're kind of be spread out between 15 and 20 all. Then maybe one gets up towards 25. But for now, I kind of see them all with the equal win equity, and we'll see how it plays out come Wednesday.
And if you had to pick one between Vic and X, who is that at the 10-2 and 10 price points?
For me, it's good boy Victor.
Always a good boy Victor.
Always good boy Victor. I mean, again, love the X-Men, and I'm really a big Cantlay guy. If you've been following me, I've been hammering him for the whole year.
Me too. I bet him every week.
Something's a little off. Again, just watching almost every shot of his at the Open, and he's backdooring these T10s. He's not firing at all cylinders like he was when he took down Rahm in the playoffs. So again, for win equity wise, and you kind of have to win or at least top 5 at this price, I'm going to go for the good boy Victor on this one.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. All right, we'll move down a little bit. I know we both like Cantlay, and so we'll cut Cantlay off. We'll go from Hatton down. We'll go from like Hatton to, we'll just talk about the 9K range for the most part. Anyone in this price point, Colin Morikawa is already getting a lot of buzz. I mean, he makes sense, but he's just been so slightly weirdly off. The iron numbers look okay, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Colin Morikawa. It's a good price. I get, like, you would never think that Ricky Fowler and Fleetwood would be ahead of him. I feel like that's kind of funny to look at. So what's your sentiment over here? I guess we can include Cantlay here too.
Very, very interesting spot here. First of all, Morikawa, I never play him really. Just not a big fan, but he did have the runner-up recently. These small greens are going to be nice for him, the way he hits his irons. And you've seen some sketchy putters win here, even including Willie Z last year.
Yeah.
So again, I kind of like him. Tommy Fleetwood Mac is my guy. I gotta stick with him. He's been trending towards a win since like Memorial Day. It's going to happen soon. Wouldn't be shocked if it was this week. But I've also been saying that for 3 years, along with Denny. So take that with a grain of salt. Ricky and Spieth. I mean, Ricky is just a continuation play from this whole summer. I don't see why you would stop now. And it's funny. The pricing is kind of similar to the Open, where Spieth is just wedged in there. No one's going to play him. But again, it's playoff time. For a contrarian 7% sprinkle, I think it's probably warranted. And then you got Hatton, who really, if you look back last 36 rounds or so, Scotty's the only one that's actually hitting the ball better all around than the Mad Hatton, as we call him. So I think we go back to him. If you want to do a balanced build, you could throw 3 or 4 of those guys in there, and then drop down to, the Denny's, the Benians of the world. Sepp, we'll get to the Austrian Bulldog in a minute, I'm sure, but. Yeah. So again, like I think all these guys, like they're in the top 20, 30 in the world now. They're all playing pretty well. I don't really think anyone's playing so terribly that you can't play them. So again, I think down the board is where you want to differentiate yourself a little bit more this week as opposed to the last few weeks.
Yeah, and I think now after you're talking, like I kind of agree with you saying how Speed's going to be low owned because he's wedged in that weird range. Everyone's going to want to loves Ricky, loves Fleetwood every week. So Jordan, when he's not been abysmal on the putting greens or abysmal around the green, he's played really well, and it's kind of like a coin flip. You don't know what you're going to get. And if you listen to, I don't know, I'm not sure if you listened to his no laying up interview with Scotty Scheffler, he is not taking this Ryder Cup for granted. Like he feels like he still has to earn his spot. So I think Jordan is, I mean, we know Jordan always wants to win as a grinder, had those few weeks off. I think he's a great play at discounted ownership. And it's just, are we going to get that coin flip around the green week? Because it's been, there's no rhyme or reason to when he putts well or when he chips well. But that's like a direct corollary to his result. If you see a decent around the green or putting result, he's mixing and he's contending because the ball striking has just been fairly good the last, I guess, year and a half. So I think I like Jordan in that 9K range. And then from the top, yeah, like I said, we both like Cantlay. Hatton is just a grinder, and I love Hatton in DFS every single week because even if he gets off that horrible start, he grinds till the 72nd hole. That was an ugly showing at the Open, but I feel like he wants to bounce back. So I would probably go with Hatton and Spieth here.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, again, I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards the household commodities, Xander and Cantlay. But again, Hatton is, I think, going to be the perfect. Him and Spieth, they'll both be less than 10%. I think. I mean, I'm just going by gut instinct, right? I haven't looked at any projections yet, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense, both of them. Just the overall year that Hatton, especially, is having. At first, I kind of glanced over him a bit, but now I'm thinking more about it. I think that could be a pretty sharp pivot right there.
All right, we will head down the board a little bit. Head to this 8K range. Jason Day 8.9. I think that's a misprice. I think it's a bad price. His reasoning for that T2 at the Open, and I tracked every single shot because I bet Jason Day at like 100-1. He gained 1 million strokes around the green. He chipped in from 30 yards twice. He did not hit the ball well. I do not think he's going to play well at 8-9. I love Max Homa at 8-8. He truthfully had the game to contend at the Open. It was his best major performance ever. He kind of chipped himself out of it, and he missed a few key shots at key times. But what can you expect from Max Homa in a major? If he gets around that loop, he's won in fields like this plenty of times. It's just a major. We're not in a major anymore. So I love Max Homa at 8-8. He might be a every lineup type of guy. He checks all those boxes except for the course history, which is why I don't think anyone's going to play him. But there's no reason Max Homa can't perform at a golf course like this.
It's like the same thing week in, week out, every big event with Max Homa, right? Now he sucks at majors, this and that. It's Bermuda. I want him on POA or event. I mean, he's 88. He's not going to be highly owned. And he just keeps getting better at all these tournaments that we don't think he's going to play well at, right? So, yeah, he's sucked here. But honestly, the way he hits his irons, just such a solid ball striker, tight classical course. I mean, this course should play well to him. If he could just putt okay on the fast Bermuda, I think. Agree. I mean, he could be a hump day hammer consideration. Yeah, like I'm not a big day guy either. Romeo was trying to talk me into him a little bit earlier today. Maybe I wrote "don't get pregnant" on my spreadsheet with him. That's maybe a light sprinkle, but I'm not going to go nuts with it. So this whole range I'm not in love with. Uncle Tony,
yeah.
I know T5, whatever. I don't know. He doesn't seem right this year. I know Ryder Cup, whatever else. Maybe I don't like him on fast Bermuda ever. Fitzy's got 3 like top 6s I think here, but. he's had a ho-hum summer since Harbor Town. So again, I'd probably lean Wyndham Clark over him.
Yeah, this is a weird pricing in my
Like, I
opinion.
don't know. I'm riding the continuation play of guys that are in form this summer. I mean, these are all like elite players here. I don't know. I'm thinking of the course itself too. I think that Fitzy and Homa probably fit the best in terms of peppering fairways and greens too. I mean, these greens are tiny here. They're one of the smallest on tour. And same goes for Harbor Town. We've seen what he did there, and obviously Pebble, other of those coastal tracks like that. So I think Fitzy will be fine. Clark's fine. This is where it gets interesting to me. Low 8 into high 7.
Agree.
Hideki, arguably the course horse here, runner-up last year, co-runner-up with Sammy B, which is coming right in. But like this whole range, you can make your money with this range, I think. So I don't know. What do you think? What's your gut feel on this?
Yeah, up top, I'm Homa for sure. I want to just like touch on Wyndham Clark too, because I really never play him. I'm not like a Wyndham Clark hater or anything. I just never find myself on him. But even since his 2 wins, after his 2 wins, I know they weren't like the best performances, but I just see him on the streams and on the coverage, and I'm like, I catch myself saying, Wyndham Clark is so damn good at golf, and he's never priced, think where he should be. I feel like he should be higher, but yet I still find myself not going to him. So maybe I should pivot down to him at this range, but this is a weird pricing range. What would the narrative be behind Brian Harman this week? He finished third here last year. If he didn't win the Open, like if he were to finish T2, he would be giga chalk. But now that he won, is anyone going to go back to him? It's a great price.
Yeah, I like that he's had a little time to kind of recalibrate, get the
Agreed.
celebration in. Now the eyes have to be on at the FedEx Cup at this point. I mean, he's locked into the Ryder Cup, right? So he's 8,300, perfect course fit, like you said, T30 last year. So will his Renaissance summer continue? I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, he's a perfect course fit. I mean, he's one of them Georgia dogs, so they're great. One of the Bermuda boys down here, 8,300. Yeah, I mean, again, this is where I'm making my money, I think, hopefully this week, but I'm going full hammer on like all these guys. Cam Young, the Willie Z roommate narrative. Can the Demon Deacon come through? Ask Scotty H. I'm all about the college roommates, whether it's Mav and Joey Bramlett, but right now we're talking
Joey Brams.
Dude,
Stanford studs.
Cam Young, I mean, how many close calls can this guy have? Obviously played great at Deere, another runner-up at the Open, then comes home completely gassed. I still played him, but stupidly in retrospect, he needed a little time to decompress. 8,200. I mean, that's criminal to me. 8,200. Him and Sammy the Bull, 8,100. I mean, he's going to be chalky though. I think pretty much every guy I've heard this week, just in the earlier part of the day today, listening into my normal podcast. I mean, there's kind of everyone's on him, but it makes a lot of sense. Runner-up with Hideki. He had 264s back in 21 here. So I don't know. It's been an up and down year for him, but he seems to be turning it on. We get him back on a classic tree line Bermuda course like Valspar. Sammy B. It's hard to argue a Sammy B hammer this week.
Yeah, I can't get behind Sammy B's driver, but I'll definitely join the Cam Young train with you. And I think he's just mispriced. And I'm not really a Cam Young guy, but he led this field last year in tee to green play. Obviously, putt poorly. Combine that with the Willie Z narrative, I think we're doing the Cam Young thing. Can two Demon Deacons win in, I guess you can call it Demon Deacon country if you want to look at him. If you want to look at a map, I'm down for Cam Young. I bet him at 45-1 this morning. No, there's not a betting show, but I think he's a great call this weekend. 8,200. That's a great price on a guy with as much upside as anyone.
He's $1,000 mispriced. The more I think about this, I'm just
we got to do that. We got to hammer.
There's no way. Hammer away. And then got some weird guys here. I mean, Sung Jae, okay, it looks like he turned it on, based in Atlanta now. He's back on East Coast Bermuda. It's just a mandatory peppering for me at 8,000. And same thing with cousin Russ right there. I mean, a continuation play. I think I messed up with Glover a little bit last week. Lucas obviously won at Bethpage many years back. We were there for that. It's right around the corner from our office. But I just didn't think he could keep it up with the flat stick, but he found something. Now Henley's always a wizard with the flat stick, especially on East Coast Bermuda. So yeah, I mean, and then there's Tom Kim. I mean, like, is he okay? If he's okay, it's a full hammer. Like, that's another complete $1,000 misprice. But I have no idea. He didn't sound great in the interview on the broadcast yesterday. So I don't know.
I
There's
wonder
a
if
lot of
he
interesting ways to go here, like heading into the 7K.
Let me look at on the PGA Tour media real quick. I want to see if Tom Kim is scheduled for an interview. He is not. I wish he was because I want to see how he feels, but he's not. I mean, that's a guts call for us then. Is Tom Kim going to be healthy? Is he not? But Tom Kim is that guy, I feel like, who's in your high school graduating class who just always comes in with the ankle brace or a wrist brace on. And like, how did you get hurt, dude? Like, he's a 21-year-old golfer. How does he get hurt so much?
I know.
But
He
yeah, I mean,
finished open too, and still was runner up in the Scott. I mean, did anyone play better in the Scottish swing than Tom Kim? And now he's coming back again. You know, we saw what he did at Wyndham, very, very similar course, champion Bermuda, tight tree lined East Coast. I mean, if he was healthy, I don't know. Do they factor health into the pricing algorithm at DraftKings? I don't know.
I don't know. There's so many questions I have with the DraftKings pricing algorithm and the DraftKings odds making because, like we said, in that 8K range, like Cam Young, what are we doing here? Is DraftKings sharp? I don't think they are, to be honest. But let's go down to this like mid-7 range. What's your thoughts on Keegan and the Austrian Bulldog? I love Keegan, I think, this week. And no one's going to place a hit at that 7-6 after like a million missed cuts. I think a lot of people are going to go to Corey and no one's going to play Denny. So what's your thoughts here?
All right, so this is my favorite range. You know, this is where we make our money. The Austrian Bulldog is probably my favorite play on the board, honestly. I was hammering him for a long time, and then for some reason got off right before John Deere, which was stupid, obviously. But like that's just again, I mean, the way he's playing. What did he do at Eastlake? He's coming in now, perfect form, just like Rory. I mean, 7,700. Just, I mean, absurd to me. Probably my favorite play below 8,000 at all. Keegs, again, local guy. We know him from Wheatley Hills right here on Long Island. I would love to play him. I like playing him at courses where Rory plays well. I can't back that up with any data, but I just think that they kind of have similarities like Rory, like kind of the way he's off the tee, especially. But I don't know. Maybe I just love Sepp so much that I'm probably going to go full hammer. Not playing Sahith and not playing Corey Connors either. Just there's not enough for me for Connors. I know he's a great ball striker, but hasn't done it here. Had a ho-hum type of year so far. I'm going to be off him. But Benny and the on 7,500. I mean, come on now. Ball striker paradise, Bermuda, continuation play. No brainer. And then obviously cousin Denny's going to get peppered. Perfect bounce back spot.
I love that. I'm with you on there.
Dude, Friday afternoon was from like 3 to 5 was the worst 2 hours of my life watching his back nine. I think he was like 6 shots off the cut going into 9. And then he eagled like 14. And I think he was like 5 under on the back and he missed it by 1. So brutal, but just the perfect bounce back spot. It really killed me too last week because I caught him on Breed on Sirius a few weeks back. It was actually right after Memorial. It was a couple months ago. And I made a note because he said, I love Sedgefield. It's one of my favorite courses. I can't wait to play there.
No way.
Killed me last week, but I'm going right back again. Similar course, similar layout. Yeah. I just think he's had a lot of good karma coming to him. We've loved him for 3 years running now, but he's been so close. I think Memorial was big for his confidence. So I mean, I'm going full bore hammer on Denny. I will probably get him. I mean, again, he's wedged nicely between Benny On and Lucas Glover, who are coming off a win and a top 3 with the two of them. Yeah, we'll get Denny probably a good. I mean, I don't think he's going to eclipse 10%, right? I mean,
I agree.
So,
and Denny's played here twice, 2 top 20s. I mean, Denny does well when he's not the overwhelming narrative of the week. Just like he was last week, he was the overwhelming narrative, and he didn't come to fruition. So I'm down for the flop leg on Den. Put him on Bermuda. Who cares? He's on fucking Bermuda. Let's go, Dan.
Let's go.
Ben On is obviously mega popular, and just like I said with Brian Harmon, if Lucas Glover were to have lost to Russell Henley last week, he would have been the play of the week with Brian Harmon. But what's the narrative going to be on him coming off of a win? Obviously, the first win in like 2 years. How does he bounce back? Is he just happy to be here, or does he want to go for Eastlake? I don't know, but he's ball striking the hell out of it. He's not missing any fairways. He's not missing any greens, and he found the fountain of youth with the putter. So, what's your thoughts on Lucas?
Uncle Lucas, again, he was also top 3 here last year, which scares me. But even like you said, though, Benny On's going to be popular. You got the Denny community wave. I don't think he's going to be that popular. I think you ride him because, again, like these guys in their mid 40s, not going to, we know his past. He's had some issues in his personal life, but the way he's striking the ball right now, and he said he found something on the putting green. I think you got to ride Uncle Lewis. Like, I mean, it's 7,400. It's not like he went up in price really at all. I think he was probably the same price last week. He's on the bubble for the FedEx top 50, and yeah, again, top 3 last year. Like, it's like too many signs pointing to playing him. So I mean, yeah, I think I'll go back to him, especially around him. Like, I'm not a Siwoo guy. I know he was first round leader with Spawn last year. I'm just too erratic for me, kind of not a great year. But the postman, my namesake, JTP, that is a guy, another continuation play. Just the king of champion Bermuda. He's got 4 T7s in his last 5 starts. I mean, just approaching the green like an absolute maverick. I don't know. I think Poston. I like this whole range. I love. I'll let you go first, but then I'll
Yeah,
run out.
I agree with you. There's too many guys down here that I want to give a nod to. And I mean, Steven Yeager he's missed 2 cuts in like 20 starts in 2023, but how is that going to transition to a no-cut 70-man field? I'm not sure because he could definitely get lapped on the weekend, so that could be something to get me off of him.
Yep.
Cam Davis, I love at 7-2. He's got 2 straight top 10s, and I tweeted out that today he's never gained strokes in all 4 categories consecutively, and he has in his whole career, which is crazy to think about because as talented as someone like Cam Davis is, he's done that. So he's coming in good form. He made the top 70. He was kind of on the bubble, but here he is. And Cam Davis is a guy who, within 5 years, no one will be surprised if Cam Davis is a top 10 player in the world. If you're not a golfing guy, you watch someone swing a golf club on the range, you look at Cam Davis, you're like, that guy is good. So Cam Davis can surely light it up in a big event and a small event. I feel like it's a mental thing with him. If he gets going, if he just trusts himself, he's still young. I love Cam Davis at 7-2. I think he's going to pop in a big event in these next 2 years, and I'm going to try to get ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, again, we've done Sawgrass, Heritage, just again targeting the East Coast Bermuda tracks. I love the correlations with him, and I am a Jaegerbomb fan, but I like him more like first round leader. If you've been watching on the PGA Live, he's like 6 under through 4 every week. So I like him, but like you said, in a no cut event, like I mean, I don't see him keeping that up for 4 days. And he usually does tail off. Similar with Eric Cole, another guy I liked. He was great for us at Honda. But, like, I don't know. Jay Rose, okay. Seems like a good guy. He's ready for the Ryder Cup. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the next 3, though, there's a big drop for me after these next 3 guys. Basically, the next 3 guys here I like, and I'm not playing anyone else after OG, Cousin Harris English until Cousin Lee Hodges. So, real quick, Emiliano – never played him for like the entirety of DFS up until this year. He's striking the ball like Hogan in his prime, and he's also putting, which is an absolute anomaly of the highest order. We love that, though. Mad Dog Mitchell, one of my favorites. Some people call him Cashmere Keith, but he's Mad Dog Mitchell to me.
Either one.
5th last start, a Bermuda legend of the highest order. The Georgia Dogs are coming out, woof, woof. And like I said, the original cousin, before there was Denny, there was Cousin Harris. Just amazing. First win at this tournament. I just think coming in hot, had a great Friday last week, was following him closely. I think he shot 65. So he turns it on this time of year. He's a very up and down player, but when he's on, he's on. So like I love Cousin Harris. Those 3, Grillo, Mad Dog, and Harris, full hammer those 3. And then I really am not in love with anyone down to Lee Hodges between that. But is there anyone else you like kind of in that range that I'm missing?
Yeah, I mean, I love Keith, and like you said with Keegan, you like Keegan on Rory courses. I love Keith on Rory courses always. And like, I mean, you said 2 more Bulldogs. If you were not even a DFS guy, didn't know shit about golf, and you only played Georgia Bulldogs week in, week out, you'd probably win more money than anyone. So
yes,
it's a great call. Down this range, this is a weird range. This is a really weird pricing because it's 70-man field. I'll pull the screen back up. Hold on.
There's a lot of guys that I like, but there's no one that I like. There's no one that I like better than those 3 that I mentioned. Like I like a lot of these guys. I played Eric Cole here, the Todd Father, amazing Bermuda putting legend, Smalley, Svensson. Yeah, they're all good. They're all fine, but I like the 3 big dogs better.
Yeah, Svensson obviously popped last week. I didn't see how he finished with his numbers because there was a time like earlier in this after his win, he just forgot how to hit an iron, and he's kind of back with that. So last 3 starts he's gained, and that was the first time he's gained since Harbor Town, which is a horrible run he's been on. So if Svensson finds something with his irons, we know he can light that up at 6.7, fine price. I think I might go back to him. Smalley disappointed everyone last week. And you said you like Lee Hodges at 6.5. So who do you like below Lee Hodges since you don't like anyone above him? Let's go down.
I know. There's again, they're all okay, but I think I'm gonna do a big drop down to Lee Hodges. I mean, coming off the win, and it was 13th last year, roll tide. I mean, I love him. And then one of my favorite plays here, just again, a little biased. Our group chat's named after him for no reason, but strokes gained Putnam, 6,400. Shout out to the boys there. He has a sneaky little runner up here. I think DJ won, and he was T5 last year. He's been fine. Again, mediocre of late. Nice T40 guy. But behind Denny could be the best just straight up putter in the field. Again, short tree line tracks. We love Putnam at those type of places. Shankopotamus, interesting play. There's a couple more actually. I'll mention really 2 more. Sam Ryder, some people are going to be on. That's just a misprice. I think they just forgot about him. He's hitting his irons too well right now to be 6,000. I think he's got like a 38th and a 7th coming in. But last guy, a true sicko special, if you have the guts for it, East Tennessee State's finest, famous Seamus Power, 6,300. He's been injured. This is a Tom Kim situation. If you're playing 30, 40 lineups, I think it's worth a light sprinkle. I need to get a little more intel about what happened in the last week or 2 with him, if he's healed. But 6,300 for the local boy, I think that could be the type of play that wins a big GPP this week.
Yeah, this is definitely a range of guys that you're going to have to make a decision with, because obviously they're all going to make the cut, but who can perform for 4 days? I think Tom Hoagie, where is he at? 63?
Fargo's
Tom
finest.
Hoagie's Fargo's finest, TCU. Tom Hoagie can definitely turn it on for 4 days in a big field. Just look back to less than a year from now. He finished 3rd at Kapalua. And that the fall was what kind of got him into this event, but he's kind of written the ship since that rough middle stretch of the season. Missed the cut No, he didn't miss the cut last week. He finished T20 in his last start. So I don't know. I'm just looking for guys, because any of these guys in the top 70 can pop for a round or 2, and like a lot of first round leader guys, like we like to say. But I feel like Tom Hoagie's a guy who can figure it out for 4 days.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't remember if did he win Northern Trust, or he was runner up to Tony and then won the following week, which was the same week as this last year. I forgot, but they had played well, kind of similar time. So if you're into the biological clock, that's Smalley's a guy like that. He killed me last week too. But no, I mean there's a couple guys down here. Yeah, I don't love the upper 6K range. There's a lot of guys that are okay, but again, I love the low 7K and actually those few guys, Hodges, Putnam, Ryder. Probably Putnam will be the lowest owned. There's going to be a little Hodges ownership. I mean, he's coming off a win. He's a really solid player. He's been playing well for a while now. But Putnam could be that sneaky guy right there. I'm thinking 3%. That could just be, even T10, T20. You never know. Could be him.
Yeah, obviously there's 70 guys in this field, so the ownership's going to be a little bit inflated. Before we finish out with our last plays, one more ad read from Patreon. Sign up for Patreon to get access to exclusive contests, including the NFL win totals contest, like I mentioned before. $1,000 first place prize to the winner. Besides season-long contests, they also have weekly contests just for the Patreon members, stuff like you and I can be in, local contests, super cool stuff. Monthly SGP Stories podcast, users get access to that completely ad-free, full behind-the-scenes stories from SGPN. So stuff like from me, Steve, Capper, all your favorite golf minds, and every other sport SGPN does. So get in that Patreon, a lot of good stuff. Before we wrap it up, we're going to let's build a lineup together quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. So who are the hammers we want to just no-brainers from the guys we both like, we got to put in?
All right, get the Austrian Bulldog in there to start. I'll pull up DraftKings here on my phone, but he's got to be my first guy this week for sure.
All right, Sep is in. Sep is a no-brainer. All right, we're trying to win a GPP here, so we can't play. We gotta do it. I think I'm going to go. Let's do it. Let's put Max Homa in there. He'll be one of the guys from up top. I think he's gonna be low owned.
I like that.
Set Max. All right, your turn.
All right, so I think I think what we should do first off is leave out the top tier. Like let's see if we
Okay.
can build one of those major winning lineups in the middle. And if we're gonna do that, let me see here. Let's high 8K range. Who's gonna lurk this week? You know what? I think he's an auto T20 with like maybe winning upside. Tommy Fleetwood, 9,100.
Yeah, he'll mix. Even if he gets off to a bad start, he will mix. I like that. All right, so I'll give us some room. I'll just talk about him. I think Hoagie can put it together for 4 rounds. Let's do Hollywood Hoagie. Go Frogs.
Hoagie. All right.
All right, we got some salary to work with, so let's do it.
All right, so in that case, maybe we should roll with the guy who used to train here, and he's just had a great year. One Memorial. Let's go with the good boy Victor.
Good boy, Vic. All right, we have 7-9 to work with. We'll collaborate on this one. I mean, how do we not throw him in? Is this a no-brainer?
Wait, who did you say?
Dan. We got money to.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We got it for the show. It's got to be.
We got to do it. We got to. You know what though?
Right.
What do we have left? 400. That's great though, because I think like the optimal. I think last week Rick had it. It was like 48,000 or something. Like there's.
Yeah, you got to get a little different.
You got to go. Well, let's go. I actually love that. I love that build. Oh my god, Hoagie's so sick, but he's gonna be like 2%.
Hell yeah! All right. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. Joe, thank you for joining me. That was a blast. 35 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be back tonight with Cam and then tomorrow with a bunch more shows. Joe, tell them where they could find you. Tell them what your thing is real quick.
Check us out, blatantgolf.com. That's our company. Blatant Athletics is our bigger brand. We do all sorts of sports, lacrosse, football, soccer, everything. But if you need anything custom apparel, we're your guys. So check us out. We're right here on Long Island. You need anything, hit me on the DMs. We'll take care of you.
Yes, sir. Any questions, you know where to find me. You know where to find Joe. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you guys soon. Peace out.
All right, BOL.